The Galactic Empire had ruled the stars for thousands of years. Its borders stretched across countless systems, and its fleets were said to be unbeatable. In the great halls of the Imperial Council, leaders spoke with confidence that never wavered. To them, the galaxy was already decided. There were powerful races, weak races, and forgotten races. Humanity belonged in the last group. On this day, the council chamber was full. Tall beings of different species sat in curved rows, their eyes glowing, their voices calm and cold. At the center floated a massive hologram of the known galaxy. Bright lights marked imperial worlds. Small, dim dots marked minor civilizations. One tiny dot blinked near the edge of the map. Earth, that an imperial admiral pointed at it with amusement. "This is the human system," he said. "A minor species, divided, slow, barely space-capable." Soft laughter moved through the chamber. Another council member leaned forward. "Our reports say they still argue among themselves. Nations fighting nations. Resources wasted. How could such a species ever threaten the Empire?" "They cannot," the Emperor said calmly. His voice carried power without effort. "Humanity survives only because we allow it." The Empire had recently lowered its defenses along the outer sectors. Patrol fleets were pulled back. Listening stations were shut down. There was no reason to waste resources watching empty space or weak worlds. The galaxy was quiet, peaceful, safe, or so they believed. Far from the council chamber, on the edge of known space, an imperial scoutship drifted in silence. It was small, fast, and designed to detect threats before they became problems. Its crew was bored. Nothing ever happened this far out. Then the sensors screamed. Alarms flashed across the control room. Energy readings spiked without warning. Gravity waves bent space itself. The ship's screens struggled to focus. "What is that?" the pilot asked, his voice tight. The scanner officer stared at the data. "I do not understand it. The mass reading is wrong. It is too large." "How large?" the captain demanded. The officer swallowed. "Larger than anything on record." The void ahead of them darkened, as if space itself was folding inward. Stars vanished behind a growing shadow. Slowly, impossibly, something began to emerge. It was not a planet. It was not a moon. It was a ship. The scout crew fell silent as the object revealed itself. The vessel was enormous. Its hull stretched beyond the limits of the screen. Layers of armored plating reflected faint starlight. Massive structures ran along its surface like city blocks. Engine sections glowed with controlled power that made imperial reactors look like toys. "This must be an error," the captain said. "No race builds ships this big." The scanner officer checked again. "The readings are real. This thing? It could carry millions." A communication signal locked onto the scout ship. Not a weapon. Not a threat. Just a presence. The captain ordered an immediate transmission to the Imperial Council. Minutes later, the council chamber filled with noise. Admirals shouted. Analysts argued. Data streamed across the hologram. A massive ship now appeared on the galactic map as a shadow that dwarfed nearby systems. "This is impossible," one council member said. "No known empire possesses such a vessel." "Trace the origin," the Emperor commanded. The answer arrived quickly. Origin, Sol system. Species, human. The chamber went quiet, and laughter broke out. "This must be a trick," an admiral said. "Humans cannot build this. They barely manage orbital stations," another added. "It is likely a derelict," someone suggested. "An ancient relic they found." But the data kept updating. More signals appeared. One shadow became two, then three, each one massive, each one moving with calm precision. The laughter faded. "These are not relics," an analyst said slowly. They are active, modern, coordinated. The Emperor stared at the map. His expression did not change, but the room felt colder. Increase scans. Full analysis. Before the order could be carried out, a message arrived on all Imperial channels. It was simple, clear, human. We are humanity. You stopped watching us. That was your first mistake. The Empire had laughed at humanity for centuries. Now, for the first time in its long history, the Galactic Empire felt something unfamiliar. Fear. The Imperial Council did not laugh anymore. Silence filled the chamber as the hologram shifted. What had once been a single shadow near human space had multiplied. One by one, massive shapes appeared on the map. Each one was larger than the last. Each one moved with perfect control. These are not scouts, an Imperial admiral said quietly. These are not carriers. These are something else. The Emperor remained still. His eyes followed the slow movement of the human fleet. How many? He asked. The analyst hesitated. We are still counting. At least 12 confirmed. Possibly more hidden beyond sensor range. A low murmur spread through the council. Even the oldest races had never fielded ships of this scale. Empire doctrine was built on balance. Smaller ships, faster strikes, controlled numbers. Humanity had broken every rule. In a distant sector, an Imperial battle group was ordered to approach the human vessels. The order was cautious. No weapons charged. No formations tightened. The Empire wanted answers, not war. As the Imperial ships drew closer, the scale became terrifyingly clear. Each human warship was not smooth and elegant like Imperial designs. They were brutal, blocky, heavy, built with purpose, not beauty. Entire fleets could have hidden inside their hulls. Vast hangar openings lined their sides. Defensive layers stacked upon each other like fortress walls. These ships are overbuilt, one Imperial engineer whispered over the channel. No species designs like this unless they expect to be hit. Repeatedly. Another officer added, or unless they expect to survive alone. The Imperial commander watched as his sensors struggled to lock on. Human shielding systems behaved differently. They did not flare brightly. They absorbed energy silently, calmly, as if impact was expected. Any weapon signatures? The commander asked. Yes, came the reply. But they are inactive. All of them. That answer did not bring comfort. Back in the council chamber, records were pulled from deep archives. Old reports. Forgotten encounters. Broken treaties. The truth began to form, piece by piece. Humanity had not disappeared. They had withdrawn. Centuries earlier, humans had been pushed to the edge of the galaxy. Their colonies ignored. Their trade routes taxed. Their warnings dismissed. When pirates attacked human worlds, help never came. When border wars spilled into their systems, the Empire looked away. Humanity learned. They stopped asking for help, an analyst said. They stopped sending diplomats. They stopped complaining. And instead, the Emperor asked. The analyst swallowed. They started building. The human ships did not advance aggressively. They moved into wide, defensive positions. Like walls. Like guardians. Each ship protected not just itself, but the space around it. Imperial tacticians studied the formations. There were no gaps. No weak angles. Any direct assault would cost fleets. Possibly entire sectors. This is not a display of power, one strategist said. This is a warning. A second human transmission arrived. This time, it was not a single voice. It was many. Men and women. Different accents. Different ages. All speaking calmly. We are not here to fight, the message said. But do not mistake our patience for weakness. The Empire attempted to reply. Standard diplomatic language. Requests for explanation. Demands for compliance. The response was immediate. You ignored us when we were small. You watched us struggle. You counted us out. While you expanded, we prepared. Imperial scanners detected something new. Inside the massive ships were vast life support zones, agricultural rings, water reserves, manufacturing centers. These were not just warships, they were worlds. These ships can survive without planets, an officer said in disbelief. They do not need supply lines. The implication struck hard. Humanity could wage war forever, or avoid it entirely. The Emperor stood for the first time. They built these ships because they expected to stand alone, he said. They built them because they believed no one would come to their aid. The map zoomed out. The human fleet now sat like a barrier between imperial space and the outer galaxy. Not blocking. Just present dot waiting dot, and for the first time, the Galactic Empire understood the truth. Humanity did not build ships that big to conquer the galaxy. They built them so the galaxy could never threaten them again. The Imperial Council was no longer in control of the meeting. What had once been a room filled with pride and certainty had turned into a place of quiet tension. No one spoke unless spoken to. Every eye stayed fixed on the hologram of the human fleet. The ships had not moved closer. They had not moved away. They simply existed, like mountains floating in space. A new signal opened across all channels. This time, it was not a warning. It was a conversation request. The Emperor hesitated for only a moment. "Open the channel," he said. The image that appeared shocked many in the chamber. There was no monster, no armored warlord, no glowing-eyed conqueror. It was a human. An older man, calm and tired, wearing a simple uniform. No decorations. No weapons visible. Behind him was a quiet command room, large but functional. People moved in the background, focused and disciplined. "I am Director Hall," the human said. His voice was steady. "I speak for the human fleet. You stand before the Galactic Empire," the Emperor replied. "Explain why you bring such power to our borders." Director Hall nodded slowly. "We are not at your borders by accident. You lowered your defenses. You stopped watching us. That told us something important. And what was that?" The Emperor asked. "That you believed we were harmless," Hale said. "That belief nearly destroyed us once." The human paused. His eyes showed memory, not anger. "When we first reached the stars, we believed cooperation was enough. We trusted treaties. We trusted protection promises. When pirates attacked our colonies, help never arrived. When our worlds burned, no fleets came. Several council members shifted uncomfortably. So we made a choice," Hale continued. "We would never again depend on someone else for survival." An imperial scientist interrupted. "You expect us to believe you built these ships out of fear?" Hale looked directly at him. "No, we built them out of experience." Data streams flooded the council's displays. Images of destroyed human colonies. Evacuation ships. Long supply lines cut off. Children loaded into shelters. These were old events, forgotten by the Empire, remembered clearly by humanity. "These ships are not weapons first," Hale said. "They are shelters, arcs. Each one carries cities, families, history." The Council finally understood. Humanity had not built a fleet. They had built escape. "If the galaxy turned against us," Hale continued, "we would leave. Not to conquer. Not to fight. To survive." The Emperor leaned forward. "And if the Empire had never ignored you? Then these ships would still exist," Hale answered. Because hope without strength is just a wish. Silence followed. Then the Emperor asked the question no one else dared to speak. If we attack, what happens? Hale did not hesitate. You will lose fleets. Worlds will burn. Not because we want it, but because we prepared for it. The human leader softened his tone. We do not seek your fall. We seek acknowledgement. Acknowledgement of what? The Emperor asked. That humanity is no longer small, Hala said. That we will not be overlooked again. The transmission ended. No threats. No demands. Just truth. The council chamber remained silent for a long time. Finally, an imperial strategist spoke. They do not need us. They never did. Another whispered, and we never noticed. The Emperor looked at the massive human ships, still waiting in perfect order. He understood now what truly terrified the Empire. Humanity had built power not to rule the galaxy, but to ensure the galaxy could never decide their fate again. And that realization changed everything. Asterisk. The decision the Galactic Empire faced had no victory in it. Attack, and they would lose more than fleets. They would lose their image of control. Retreat, and the galaxy would see fear in the Empire for the first time. Both choices carried weight that would echo for centuries. The Emperor stood alone after the council was dismissed. The great chamber felt smaller now. The hologram of the human fleet remained active, its massive shapes unmoving. They did not advance. They did not threaten. They simply waited. That, more than anything, unsettled him. A final transmission request appeared. This time, it came from the Emperor himself. Reopen the channel, he ordered. Director Hale appeared again. He looked no different than before. Calm, patient, unafraid. You have shown restraint, the Emperor said. Few would. We have had centuries to learn it, Hale replied. The Emperor straightened. The Empire will not engage your fleet. We will restore patrols to their previous limits. Human space will be recognized as sovereign. The words felt heavy as they left his mouth. Across the galaxy, smaller civilizations watched the exchange. News spread faster than light through relay networks. Whispers turned into shock. The Empire had stepped back. Hale nodded once. That is enough. There will be a seat for humanity on the Galactic Council, the Emperor continued. Equal voice. Equal standing. For the first time, something close to emotion crossed the human's face. Not triumph, relief. We did not come seeking dominance, Hale said. Only respect. The channel closed. Slowly, the human fleet began to move. Not forward. Not deeper into imperial territory. They shifted positions, opening routes, allowing traffic to pass freely. The message was clear. They were never here to block the galaxy. They were here to be seen. In the following cycles, everything changed. Smaller species began sending envoys to human space. They had lived under the Empire's shadow for generations, believing strength was something only ancient races possessed. Humanity proved them wrong. Reports spread of the human ships in detail. How they carried entire ecosystems. How children were born inside moving cities. How humans trained not for conquest, but endurance. Imperial historians struggled to rewrite their records. The phrase spread across the stars, whispered first in fear, then in awe. Humanity builds for the long dark. The Emperor watched from his throne world as the human ships faded into distant sectors. They did not vanish. They simply took their place among the stars. For the first time, the Empire understood its mistake. They had measured power by territory. Humanity had measured it by survival. And in doing so, they had built something the galaxy could not ignore. Because the most dangerous species was never the loudest. It was the one that endured. And when the galaxy finally looked up, it realized the truth. Humanity was never supposed to have ships that big, because no one expected them to last long enough to build them.